Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me today for part 2 of my interview with Lynnclaire Denyce. Part 1 is linked in the description, where Lynnclaire shares about her 3 amazing near-death experiences. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about the pattern that she saw when she was on the other side, and a lot about the work that she and her team are doing to bring this information to the world. Everything that we discussed today, including her websites, books, and her free app, will be linked in the description. So please check those out if you'd like to learn more about Lynnclaire. Thank you so much for watching. Here's Lynnclaire. Could I ask you more about the pattern and what that is? I heard you discussing in another interview that, well, I heard you say a number of things that were really interesting, but that it's basically it's love, correct? We said it's the universal spiritual symbol, and it boils down to love, and it's me. You can explain it so much better than me, so I'll just give it back to you.
No, the pattern. What is the pattern? I mean, our lives are all about patterns. And let me just tell you that I've been working with these two guys, Matt Hart and James Scruggs, and we've developed an app based on patterning. And you can find the website, it's patterning.community. But what it is this is time for me, it's love. If this is time and this is love and you're feeling in the dark, if this is time, time has an arrow, okay? Think of this as light, think of it as time, think of it as what love is, what matters, is what I've always said. So if you're going into the light, what happens? You're blind. Can you look at the sun? No. Okay. So in all scriptures talk about the word sound is a light and it illumines your path. Where's a halo on someone who is sainted? It's behind the head. The light is behind them and they're looking. It illumines the path. It illumines their feet. If you're running against time, if you're running against love, you're in burnout. You can't see. You can hear static and noise that's running around you. It's why I've not wanted the spotlight. I don't want to be set up. I'm just like you. I'm no different than you. I'm just a girl. I'm just human. I make the same mistakes that you do. I mess up on a regular basis. I usually like to get it over with early in the day, especially the need to be right. It's what attracts us is when we're flowing with the light. What makes us attractive is when we're flowing with the light, because then we can see who's beside us. That's what relationship is about. It's not who's above us or who's in front of us. You can't see them unless they turn around and then they don't see you. So that's just the big illusion that, that's why the spotlight is a dangerous place to hang out. So for me, this is about love because it lights my path. It lets me see my own stuff. It lets me see those who are standing beside me. And if this is a rainbow, because the pattern, we don't even show it here. We don't show it's interesting. You can see the arc around the outside. It's like a bubble. It's like a water bubble. And there's a reason why the pattern is a rainbow, because if you have light and water, you have the conditions for a rainbow. And the rainbow is it's an artifact of motion, a prism. Something's moving, light is going through and coming out that drop. So it's love, but love is a language, it's a verb, it's a noun, but the most important verb is loving. To be loving, to care for ourselves so that we are free and able to care for others. So the pattern is more than a metaphor. I think it is the meta for life, for love. It's evidence of a living, vibrant, dynamic system. And one of the reasons I'm so excited to share what we're talking about today is I have this wonderful opportunity that I hope your listeners will help us make happen.
Yeah, why
We-
don't you go ahead and share what you're doing? Take this opportunity to talk about your website and everything else that you have getting ready
Perfect.
to launch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very exciting. Most of you know is that many will know, or few will know. I don't know if anyone will know or anyone will care. Yes, I hope they will care. I do know there's a cause to care. That I've stayed in the realm of academic publishing for a long, long time, and I've stayed very quiet. I've been running under the radar for a good reason. So an amazing publisher out of Denver, Colorado, your time zone, contacted me several months ago and said, Lynnclaire, we'd really like to work with you. They knew I was teaching at the university, working with students and faculty there, that we'd really like to bring out your books. What do you have? And I go, lots, because I've been writing for years. And I just throw it into the computer and just transfer it from one computer to another. And so I've been talking with Michelle Van de Pass at Grace Point Publishing, and we're going to be bringing out 2 books. Now, most people know that there's not much money in publishing. And we have started a group of women and 1 man, myself. There's a group of 5 of us. We'll be introducing that later. Started what we're calling the Nameless Academy. The Nameless because we're secular. We understand that unity only occurs because of diversity. Without diversity, there is no unity. Okay. So the Nameless Academy, to support what we're going to be doing webinars, we're doing training of trainers. Michelle and her partners at Grace Point Publishing have said, Lynnclaire, we want to help support this work. And the first book that we're going to do is going to be a book called Request. There's going to be 5 different volumes of Request, and it's going to include my artwork, cards. But there's no positive or negative. There's no up or down. When you see them on the website, you'll understand what they're about. It's just about beauty. And there's a page of titles there. But what they've offered is a 50-50 deal. And what that means is we have to pre-sell some books. And so we've opened a website, it's on my art website, which is, my granddaughter loves the name of the art website. She is Miss Star Stuff and Glitter herself. So the name of the website is starstuffglitter.com. And then if you do a /belonging, you'll see it listed there. And it talks about the project and what we're doing. So we're asking people to help to pre-order the books so that we can do this joint venture, intentional cooperation with Grace Point Publishing. And then I'm doing a second book that is something that I've been going through for the last 6 years. I'm not going to talk about it in detail, but I'm writing a book. It's the hardest book I've ever written. It's probably changed my life more than my NDEs. And the book is called The Voice in the Mirror. And so there's an offer there that includes both those books. It includes a beautiful art print and includes participating in an 1.5-hour webinar. So your audience can take a look there. I would love it if they would come and see what I'm doing with art, because this has been such a mental trip in so many ways, the physical, the emotional, my biggest wrestling match for the last 30 years has been, I'm not smart enough to figure this out. Working with physicists, astrobiologists, chemists, medical doctors, mathematicians of the highest, ilk. So, but bless their hearts, they've put me through my paces. I've learned a lot, still learning. And the good news is I haven't been wrong. Now, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about being accurate. It's about being an accurate reporter. So the other thing I'd really like to talk about is how to experience the pattern from a sonic perspective. Is the project that I briefly mentioned before called Patterning.
Okay.
And patterning.org life, we built an app that literally talks about intentional living. And we're in the middle of a study right now with a team in Lisbon, a neuropsychiatrist, on the effects of this sound. Can't report on it yet. We'll be doing so shortly. But we're using that to help people find a meditative inner space. The anecdotal reports that people are experiencing are quite stunning. By setting an intention, focusing, do I want to focus on my body? Do I want to focus on my emotional body, my brain? Is it about intuition? Is it about how I'm using my time? Is it about my spirit? Maybe it's about my relationship to my partner, my child, my job, my community. It's setting an intention. Okay? It's anticipating, but not expecting. Expectations, premeditated resentment, but intention, and then being able to focus. And what these frequencies do, it's based on the mathematics, lets you focus. Okay. And so then you get to track and follow throughout the day and see what happens. And the beautiful thing that James and Matt have done with patterning is realizing that we learn best together. We've had a lot of experience in alone time in the last couple of years. You know, loneliness, feeling like we don't belong. It's epidemic.
Mhm.
And so what if we could have a friend that we love and trust help us become accountable? So that's what patterning.life is all about. And I would love to have people visit there. It's free at this time. We're just still trialing it. We have several hundred people on the beta and very excited. There's been no drop off in the beta. And so we would love to have you join that and experience it. Make it a daily habit to use it to go to sleep at night. People are falling asleep very, very quickly who haven't been able to sleep, which means it's reducing stress. You know, but when you wake up in the morning to do it again, to do a short version in the morning, just to help focus your brain, maybe even before coffee.
Wonderful. I'm really excited about that. I'm definitely going to check that out. And
Please.
so I will have all of these links in the description, the websites, the apps that you mentioned, as well as any books that have you published books yet, or are they still waiting to be published?
We're asking people to
Pre-ordering. Yes, you
pre-order
said
the
that. You
book.
just said that.
Yeah,
So-
we're asking them to pre-order
Yeah.
so that we can get it. And there's no way, you know, we're coming up on October. We'll be in October by the time this airs, but we can't do it for Christmas. But that's why I've made the offering of a piece of art. It's a beautiful butterfly. It was a dream. I woke up, it was a dream. I mean, I paint my dreams. That's what my paintings are all about. And this absolutely amazing butterfly said, follow her. A voice said, follow her. So that's the name of the painting. I named them from what I remember from the dreams. So that will be my gift. You can give it for Christmas, whatever.
And that book that you just held up can we
Yes.
buy that one? Is there somewhere we can get that?
Yes, on World Scientific Publishing. Just write World Scientific Publishing, Marion Matrix, and it will show you the book. The challenge is I think it's about $200.
Well, I'm sure it's worth it.
That's the way it goes, and that's the way it goes in science. So it's,
Right.
you know, believe me, this is not a book you want to read. I'm actually the last chapter I'm going to be publishing. It's because I retained the copyright on that last chapter, which I wrote. So we will be publishing that very, very soon. And it's a reference book. So if you're interested in geometry, knots, you know, most people think about geometry as sacred. Well, I say if anything is sacred, everything is sacred.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this shows literally how all sacred geometry, every form of geometry, Platonic solids, the Kepler solids, Archimedean, they're all subsets of one of the other. It shows how they're all connected. And if you Google how to connect the geometric solids or Platonic solids, you won't find a unifying matrix. But the Marian matrix, and by the way, Marian is not a name, it's the formula. Okay? I like to say that. It's not, and that's why we're saying we're the Nameless Academy. It's not a name, okay? Because your name holds the essence of who you are. My name holds the essence of who I am, but we share one nameless name. Our unity, that which brings us together. And Melissa, that brings us right back to love.
I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Lynnclaire, for sharing everything that you have. Is there anything else that you'd like to say before we go?
Well, I'd just like to invite everyone to starstuffglitter.com and to visit patterning.life. Stay tuned for some big updates in the coming weeks on what's happening there. I'll be in Lisbon next week to meet with the team that's been doing the study, the sound study. On the World Scientific Publishing site, you'll see some very interesting videos of what happens when that sound is put into water and how it's a match for the human heart and the brain. So what are the implications if you can connect your heart and brain? Very interesting times.
I should have asked you this. You may have said this, but the sound that you're talking about, is this connected to the pattern?
It is the sound of the pattern.
Okay, I thought that's what
the universe has a soundtrack. This is sound.
Okay, I thought that's what you said.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
This is sound. This is in its frequencies. And if you think back to all the ancient traditions and science, and God said, let there be light. So from sound to light. And we actually know that when these frequencies are put in water, the Marian Legacy, CIC, it's just the Marian Legacy CIC has a YouTube site. And there's lots of videos there where they can see what happens when you put an inaudible frequency, okay, inaudible, into a small cuvette of water. What happens? Well, it's an inaudible frequency, which means it's very low. There should be nothing there. And yet, guess what appears? The Marian matrix.
Wow,
exactly.
Incredible.
Exactly as I said it would. And yeah, it was quite a day. I remember the day with crystal clarity. So it just took a long time for the technology to catch up with us.
That's the way it usually goes.
Yeah. Melissa, this has been a blast.
Yes, thank you so much, Lynnclaire. I really appreciate everything you've shared with us.